Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, I want to explain about 6 points in qualitative and quantitative research. Let's begin. The first one, I want to explain about qualitative research design. What is qualitative research design? The definition of research design is the strategy that the researcher built to get answer from his research. So the second one is planned research. What is planned research? Planned research is the whole program that researcher built to finish their research. The element in the qualitative research design, the element of the qualitative research is it has 8 elements. The first one is determine research problem. The research problem is a condition caused by interacting of 2 or more factors that make another problem. For example, A. Difficult circumstance, B. Choice of action to be taken, and C. The problem that researchers do not want to have, or unwanted consequence. So elements number 2 is determine the suitability of paradigm with researcher problem. In this step, the researcher determines whether the research problem it has been formulated, although it is temporary, is in accordance with the positivism paradigm or naturalistic paradigm. Elements number 3 is determine the data source. There are 3 sources that can provide data to researcher. The first one is namely event. Namely event is activation in the classroom, learning and teaching, something like that. And the second one is respondents. Respondent is people who have information about the problem being studied or the problem that researcher want to in his research. And the last is documents, all forms of written information such as diploma and diary. And then elements number 4 is determine research problem. Determine research procedure. In qualitative research, there is a principle that says that the researcher does not know what he does not know. Therefore, the researcher takes several steps so that he can first know what should be known, second, obtain information about it, and the last is check the correctness of the information. And elements number 5 is determine research instrument. In qualitative research, the main instrument for data collection are the researcher themselves. If later other instruments are used such as tape recorder, cameras and stationery, they are only supportive. So elements number 6 is determine the procedure for collecting and recording data. In accordance with the data source, there are 3 techniques used to collect data, namely observation for event data search, interview for respondent data search, and document analysis for document data search. Data that has been collected is been recorded in the form of field notes, which are the raw data of the study. So elements number 7 is determine data analysis procedures, and the data analysis procedure varies depending on whose model is used. At least there are 2 models commonly used, namely the model of Spradley 1980 and the model of Strauss and Carbin 1990. And then the last is the Spradley model. And then the Spradley model is known in ethnographic research. Elements number 8 is determine the procedure for checking the validity of data. Okay, then I want to explain about nature and model of qualitative research. The nature of analysis of qualitative data. It has six nature. The first one is qualitative research is inductive. The second one, qualitative research is naturalistic. The number third is qualitative research is subjective. Fourth, qualitative research is holistic. Five, qualitative research is humanistic. And the last is qualitative research uphold the principle of equality. And then the model of analysis data qualitative. According to Lexi G. Muleong, in qualitative research, there are three models of data analysis. The first one is the constant comparative method as studied by Glaser and Strauss. And then data analysis method according to Miles and Haberman. And the last is data analysis method according to Spradley as found in his book Participant Observation. Okay, and then point number 2, I want to explain about the step how to do a qualitative research. Qualitative research, it has 5 steps. The first one is lifting a problem. You need to make a problem or find a problem or how to appear a problem in an environment or whatever. So the number 2 is about raises research question. You need to appearing a question to make qualitative research. And then number 3 is gather relevant data, getting a relevant data. Fourth is perform data analysis. The last is answering research question. And then after you know the step how to make a qualitative research, I'm sorry, not to make, but how to do a qualitative research. And then after that, if you know that, then you need to know about how to prepare to do a qualitative research. The first one is the preparing of qualitative research, it has 4 steps. The first one is hold contact with the gatekeeper. The second one is make an agreement with the respondent. And number 3 is build and maintain trust. And the fourth is identify and use informant. After that, you need to collecting data and take a note your data to do a qualitative research. There are some to collecting data. The first one is preparing step. After that, you need to collecting data. So in collecting data, it has some of step 2. The first one is you need to do observation. Observation is an activation or process saying think carefully. And second is you need to interview. Interview our conversation with special goal. The objective of the interview include obtaining present and now construction about people, event, activity, organization, feeling, motivation, and etc. Reconstruction of the above in the past. And then you can do analysis document. Now I will explain about technique analyzing data quantitative. Kind of data analysis. Data analysis is very important in researching because that is something that you need to do a research. Kind of data analysis is divided into 2. The first one is qualitative data and quantitative data. Then example of quantitative data is like numbers, but obtained from the number of marker or measurement. That's always use a number. Example of data are census results number, tabulation result for answer to questionnaires, or structured interview. And then measurement data or scores obtained through measurement such as learning achievement test scores, motivation scale scores, and high or not high scores, and something like that. And then after that is conclusion from sample data that will be applied to the population, have the change of error and its truth, and which is expressed from. And then the last of technique data analysis quantitative is the steps in quantitative data analysis. There are 3 steps to make quantitative data analysis. The first one is coding data. You need to give a sign again systematically, and then you can upload it or you can put it on the software PC or Microsoft Excel or anything else. And then the second one is entering data. After you coding data, after you give a sign, you can put it in your software like SPPS or Microsoft Excel, anything like that. And then the last is cleaning data. You need to check your data again before you can conclude your hypothesis. And then I will explain about technique for collecting validation data in quantitative research. Data collection technique is the most important stage in the research process. The data collection technique needed must be valid and readable. And then how to collect quantitative data? There are 3 steps doing collecting quantitative data technique. The first one is interview technique. Interview are process in interaction and verbal communication to obtain information. The second one is questionnaire technique. According to Crosswell, the questionnaire is a data collection technique where respondents fill in question or statement. The last is observation technique. According to Margono 1997, in page 158, observation is a systematic observation and recording of symptoms that appear on the object of research. And then the last is validation. Validation is a test of the validity of the data in the study. Validity is the degree of accuracy between data that occurs on a research object and the power that can be reported by research. And then I will explain, this is the last, about qualitative data processing technique. Qualitative data processing technique, it has 5 steps. The first one is editing data. Editing data is process where the researcher conduct clarification, readability, consistency, and completeness the collecting data. The second is development of variable. That is the specification of all the variables needed by the researcher, which include the collected data. And the last is data coding. Data coding is the giving or making code in each data that belongs to the same category. And then the number 4 is check for error. The researcher check for error in the data before being inserted into the computer to see if the previous step have been completing without serious error. And then the last is creating a data structure. Researcher make a data structure that include all the data needed for analysis, then transferred into the computer or software. Thanks for watching and see you in another video. And then number 3 is data recording. What is data recording? The data, it has been obtained through the 3 techniques above, is then paired in the form of field notes, which are the raw data of the study. After recording data, there are 3 principles of analyzing data. The first one is analyze on the spot, the second one is interactive, and the last is cyclical.